How we doing today? My name is Barba223 and today we're back on the Warden. So we made a Warden build and this is the one that I've been talking about for a little bit. This build literally does it all. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's not super amazing at one thing. I mean, that one thing is survivability. Alright, this build doesn't die. It's going to take at least 3 people to kill you, 4 people maybe. But everything else is good. Is it amazing? No. But it's amazing at surviving and pretty great at everything else. So that's how I try to make my builds. This build is great. It has healing, damage, tankiness. It's fast. Has a decent amount of max stats. All right, this one is really good. All right, so as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go. Let's get into it. So, just keep in mind my like resources, my mag, health, and stam. This is wrong. All right, so this is unbuffed. Alright, so let me just explain. Alright, so I'll give you a little teaser. I am using Death Dealer's feet. Alright, that is why these stats are wrong. So, we are rocking with 18,000 magic. We get we get a little bit over 20 when we're fully buffed. I believe we get like a little like what 2,200 resources from Death Dealer, so we get over 20,000. Health, we get up to 45k. Alright, 45k, and then we heavy attack, we get over 7k damage shield. So that's really nice. And then stamina gets up over 15k. Alright, so again, a little bit over 20k magic, 45k health, and 15k stamina. Alright, so before Death Dealer's feat, we are rocking at 42,500 health. Alright, we have 1200 mag recovery. That is without our Betty Netch, so our Betty Netch gives us approximately, what, 200 recovery, give or take. So that's really good. And then stam recovery is almost 1,000, which is solid. That's perfectly fine for what we want to do. Alright, so spell damage is 3,400, unbuffed. Alright, so buffed up, we are at 4,100, and then we also get another 600, maybe 700 for another thing on our bar. So we got 23% crit, we got 4,000 pen, but we also get major and minor breach, so that's almost 10,000 penetration right there. So we're getting almost 14,000 pen. On the resistances, we are unbuffed right now, so let's buff up. Alright, so we are at 32 and 30, and then on the back bar, we get up to 36 and 34. Alright, so we are really, really tanky. Like, we are basically maxed out resistance, so this build is a literal ice god. Alright, so we're at 10 mag and 54 health, and then 0 in stamina. So these are our stats. This is total, again, this is unbuffed, by the way. We are a Breton, and we're using Jewels of Misruled, and then I am using the Apprentice Spell Damage Mundus, and we're also Stage 3 Vamp. So that is what we're rocking with the character screen. Now, for me, Stage 3 Vamp's a must. The Apprentice is really nice. This is completely your opinion. If you want to use something else, you can. Alright, Jewels of Misrule for me has become an absolute must in my builds. I love Jewels of Misrule. I'd rather have the recovery than the max stat, in my opinion. So, yeah. Alright, so, in the gear, on the front bar, we are using the Master Ice Staff. This is incredible for what we want to do on this build. Alright, so think about it this way. 1, I'm unkillable. Alright, 2, Ice Staff makes people so debuffed, it's actually unbelievable. Alright, so we are getting a buff from this, and then other people around us are getting debuffed. Alright, so, we are doing frost damage glyph because we do extra frost damage. So I know it's a little counterintuitive with the status effect, but I like the 10% extra frost damage. I believe it's 10. So yeah, we're using sharpened, and then reduce the cost of destructive touch, and then increase your weapon and spell damage by 600 after using it. Everyone knows this. So we use ice or frost clench as our spammable. I will explain all that when I get into the skills, but yeah, I mean, this is the bread and butter of the build. This carries the build. The ice staff is incredible. Alright, so on the back bar, we're just using a staff of Desert Rose. I wanted powered and not defending because we already have so much resistance, and then we get 1,500 armor from the 2-piece of the staff when we switch. And for me, Resto Staff is the best option because those juicy heavy attacks. Alright, heavy attacks give so much magic and major mending, it's awesome. And then we use Berserker. So, yeah. Also, keep in mind, if you want to, you can use poisons. Alright, you don't have to just use the frost glyph or whatever, shock glyph, whatever you want to use. You can use poisons as well. So yeah, on the back bar, you can really use whatever resto staff you want. I mean, you could use endurance, you could use whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You could use endurance for the extra max health to make your polar wind do just that little bit more. So that is another option as well. It doesn't matter though; it's completely up to you. So we are running Malabeth Scourger as a monster set. So ignore the invigorating, even though there are worse traits like training. But yeah, Malabeth is perfect for this build because people jump on you and try to jump you because you have so much health and someone like they're just like this. I feel like people just get pissed off almost and jump on you and try to burst you down. But Malabeth Scourger make your heals legitimately incredible. Like, it's crazy. You get one line of health, and then you get when you take damage, you get a 10% chance to tether to your enemy for 6 seconds. As long as you remain within 8 meters, we always want to be in 8 meters. We are using Frost Clench, but we still want to be melee range. Alright, I'll explain why in a second. You deal 815 magic damage every second, so that's another dot. That's just doing extra damage. You heal for the damage caused, and you gain major vitality, increasing your healing received by 16%. Alright, and there's no downtime on it. Yes, the chance has to proc for 10%, but that you're going to proc that constantly, and it's only a 6-second cooldown. This set is amazing. You know why it's amazing? Because it's vitality and not mending. Alright, why is vitality better for this specific situation? Vitality is a different buff than mending, meaning the effects stack. Alright, so major vitality gives you 16% healing. Alright, 16%. And the resto staff gives you major mending. Alright, so you get major vitality from the helm. You get major mending from the heavy attack. You get 32% healing done. 32%. 32% healing done. And you get 9% on your resto staff. I'm telling you right now, you are going to heal like a freaking beast. Alright, your healing is incredible. So Malabeth for me is an absolute must. I will not switch it off. So just to let you know, Malabeth's fire. Alright, so here is the 5-piece that the set and the build is all about. Alright, Securus of the Storm Knight. Storm Knight plate. I'm telling you right now, this set is so slept on, it actually makes me sick. Alright, it's cheap. It's on the guild store. I don't even want to tell you that. I got this set for like 30k. 30k. It's incredible. I don't even think I upgraded all the pieces because I was so excited to use it. I literally, yeah, I didn't. I was so excited to use it, I didn't even finish upgrading it. I played with the build, and I was like, I don't even feel like getting on my other character to upgrade it. Alright, because I don't care. It's so good. This set is wild how good it is. Alright, so I wanted a set that would give me armor and damage at the same time. So I thought, what set in this game that I know about would give me damage and tankiness at the same time? And I realized Stormplate is a set you do nothing for. You can double bar it so it's proccing at all times, and you can just use a Master Staff. This is it. This is the set. Alright, so when you're buffed, you get 1400 armor. Well, you get like almost 1500 when you get it ranked up. But you get armor, health, and then when you take non-physical damage, that means anything that is magic based or status effect or anything that's not physical damage. You deal 1700 shock damage to all enemies within 5 meters every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. You have this ticking at all times. That's all I gotta say about it. This set is going off at all times. As 100% uptime, it's never down. Never, ever are you going to be fighting someone that only uses physical damage. I'm telling you, I don't know the last time that I fought someone that didn't use some type of elemental damage. The reason being, every single person in this game uses a Destro Staff on their back bar, whether it's Vadistran or they're just using the Elemental Susceptibility skill. Elemental Susceptibility has single-handedly made this build fire. Alright, because everybody's using non-physical damage, whether it's a poison, a dot, a status effect, a light attack with a Resto Staff. It could be anything, a light attack with a Flame Staff. It doesn't matter. Anything is proccing this set. It's just so much pressure. Alright, you're getting pressure from Malabeth. You're immobilizing them over and over and over with your Ice Staff. You're hitting your deep fissures. People literally can't get away from you. You are just, you're that a-hole that just people hate. I've gotten many messages from people saying I'm annoying, and I love it. It makes me feel like I'm doing a good job. Alright, so yes, this set is amazing. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing. There is another version of this. I believe it's when you take physical damage. So they have this one that says non-physical damage, and then they have another version, I believe, that gives you the bonus for physical damage. But I like this one. Alright, if it did ice damage, my life would be complete. But unfortunately, it doesn't. That's okay. Alright, so here we're using Malabeth again. We're using a light or a heavy shoulder, so we're running all heavy. Alright, yeah. And then we have Storm Knight, and then Storm Knight again. Alright, so you have all Storm Knight on the body. Now you want to get it purple or gold, of course, and you want to get reinforced or impen or well fitted, whatever. Alright, totally up to you. But Storm Knight is that set, bro. Alright, so here we're using one piece of trainee. You can use infused or bloodthirsty. I have infused, I already had it. I'm not going to change it. I like infused. And then trainee on the other ring. And then our last ring is a bloodthirsty Death Dealer's Feet. Now this one comes in bloodthirsty, so you're chilling. But yeah. So, you gain a persistent stack of feet every 2 seconds, up to 30 stacks. Every one increases your resources by 88. Alright, if you're in combat, you're getting it. It's that simple. Alright, I believe when it's all said and done, you get about 2,200 of all resources. Alright, so, you get minor toughness on a Warden, which means you are getting max health just from existing. Alright, so healing, if you heal yourself, you get 10% max health. And if you get the 2,200 from this, that just scales it up even more. So basically, look, we're sitting at 39, completely unbuffed. Alright, so then when we buff up, we get up to 42. Alright, and then we get Death Dealer's Feet, which gets us up to 45. So we're at 45k health just chilling. And we're at, so it's really, really good. 45k health is very, very tanky. So yeah, that is the gear. For me, I am not negotiating anything. I'm using health glyphs because I'm trying to pump my health up. Alright, so I wouldn't change a single thing. I think this build is perfect. I really do. I absolutely love this build. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to get into the skills now. Alright, so the skills. On the front bar, we are using Lotus Blossom. Lotus Blossom is our crit bonus. It's basically a better version, in my opinion. It's like Mage Light, but it's just good. Like, it just, I don't know. It's a very good skill. It's cheap. It lasts for a minute. It gives you heals for heavy and light attacks. It heals you and an ally, so it's just easy healing, free healing, and it gives you your crit bonus. So really, really good. Really, really, really good skill. I wouldn't trade it. Here we're using Deep Fissure, which is just our bread and butter skill. It has to be on the bar. It gives you major and minor breach, and it does a ton of damage. This one is our Major Expedition. It gets us out of immunity and snares. It's basically like a Race Against Time on steroids, in my opinion. I mean, it does no different than Race Against Time, other than the fact that Race Against Time gives minor force instead of minor berserk. So, I like the wings better. I like the minor berserk. Alright, here is our, this is actually our, I would say, flex spot. Alright, so Corrupting Pollen, for me, is a lot better than people realize. You're getting a ton of value out of this. Now, there's two ways for me to win a fight. Alright, one is to debuff someone to where they can't kill you and then you can kill them. The other is you out DPS them. In my situation, I don't have the most damage in the world, so being able to debuff somebody and keep them in it is very important. Alright, so number one, you get a delayed heal. That's really nice. You also apply Major Defile and Minor Cowardice to anyone in it, which reduces their healing received by 16% and reduces their weapon and spell damage by 215. Alright, so basically what I try to do is I pop my fissure, I put a pollen down in the pile, and I just stay in it. Like I said, people love to push me and fight me, so I just sit in my pollen. I get a big delayed heal, I get people debuffed, and half the time they don't even know they're debuffed. So, I mean, there's not much to complain about, and then allies can also activate a synergy and get healed off it. Alright, so the group util on this build is unbelievable. There's so much util to go around on this build. Like, you heal people without even trying to. You debuff people without even trying to. Alright, it's a big AOE. AOE focused. Alright, so this one is a great skill. Now, if you don't want to use it, you are not forced to. I think another good option is Gripping Shards. Alright, why do I like gripping shards? Well, one, this version scales off your max health. And it immobilizes. It's an immobilization, which is really, really nice because, like I said, it's very, very AOE focused. I tried gripping shards. I've tried Frozen Gate. I've tried Elemental Blockade. Alright, I've tried multiple skills, and I've always gone back to Corrupting Pollen. I just think it helps me secure kills a little bit more. Now, why does it help me secure kills? Because I use Frost Clench. I do not use the dot version, though. I use the immobilized version. It doesn't do quite as much damage, but it applies the chilled status effect. Alright, also, it immobilizes the enemy and inflicts major maim, reducing their damage done by 10%. Alright, so anyone attacking you is debuffed by 200 in weapon and spell damage. 10% damage. And then you're applying the other chilled. Alright, you're applying chilled, which reduces their damage done even more. Alright, so you're applying major and minor maim, which is 15%. You're reducing their damage done, and you're already tanky as heck yourself. You aren't gonna die. You're never gonna die. And there's something to note. Alright, I will tell you in a second. So Permafrost is the alt we're using. Why are we using Permafrost? Well, I told you this build is AoE focused. When you pop this, people try to run away. Northern Storm does give you spell damage. I will give you that. But this one lasts longer. Doesn't do as much damage, but it lasts longer. It makes the snare 70%. You and allies get major protection for longer. And it applies chilled on every hit. Now, why is applying chilled on every hit good? This one also applies chilled. Your spammable applies chilled, and so does your ultimate. Now, chilled is not typically the biggest deal in the world, but let's find it. Alright, so, where is it? Right here. Alright, so increases the chance of applying chilled to enemies with Winter Embrace abilities. We apply it every time with our ult, and we apply it every time with our spammable. But it increases your damage of your chilled status effect by 915. Alright, so we applied chilled on every hit. So what I'm saying is this. Alright, by 915. How much does our chilled status effect do? Let's find out. It did 1756 on that one. 1772. 1785. Alright, 1768. 1781. 1766. Alright, we getting the gist of it here? It does a ton of damage added to your damage. So we're doing 1700 basically on every attack. Alright, so what I'm saying is our spammable might do 36, but you can add 1700 to that because you apply chilled every time, and that gets buffed with your Warden passives. Alright, so do not forget that. So, if it's doing 1700 more, it's really doing like 5300 rather than 36. Alright, this one's doing 3600 rather than 1800. Alright, so that's why for me, I love these two morphs. I love it. It's so good. So yeah, and I love the immobilization because you can trap someone in one spot and just pop all your debuffs on them and they can't get away from you. Alright, because immobilize doesn't have as much of a global cooldown as a hard CC does. That's why I use it. Yeah, so let's get on the back bar. Oh yeah, one more thing to know. I am sorry. There was one more thing. So right here. Alright, so we're using an Ice Master Staff because you get 12% damage done. Alright, so that's also really nice. But yeah, the back bar. So we're using Ice Fortress. Alright, Ice Fortress is an absolute must. It gives you minor protection. You know the deal. Alright. Here we're using Vigor. Is it the best heal ever? I mean, no, but it's solid, and it gives you minor resolve, which is a must. It's just a buff you need on your bar. Here we're using Polar Wind. Now, our Polar Wind hits different. Alright, I hit a 24k Polar Wind. I mean, are you kidding me? A 24k Polar Wind. So to put this in perspective, you're healing you and an ally. A lot of heals are you or an ally. Alright, so this is important to note. You get healed and you heal an ally no matter what. That's really important. Because you're not sacrificing your own heals. I like this more than Arctic Blast, guys. Way more than Arctic Blast. Yeah, Arctic Blast stuns. Who cares? Who cares? This one is incredible. The heal over time off of it is amazing. And we have 45k health. That's why the tooltip is so dang high, because it scales off our max health too. Alright, so we're just popping like 15k heals in PvP like it's nobody's business. Like, it is crazy how much healing it does. Now, think about it this way. You're using a Vigor. That's healing me for 2900 a second. Alright. And then you pop an Arctic Wind, and you pop a Vigor. Look how much healing's coming in just for nothing. 2 skills. Like, this is crazy heals. Alright, so our Polar Wind's doing 38. Our Vigor's doing 29. We're getting a ridiculous amount of heals, and we already have a ridiculous amount of health. It's crazy to me. Alright, and then on top of it, when we heavy attack, we gain a 14,000 damage health shield. 14,000. This just got buffed in the recent update, by the way. The Ice Staff shield is bigger now. So we're getting 14,000 health damage shield every time we heavy attack, which is why I heavy attack constantly. Right, because we're always getting a damage shield. We hardly even take damage to our health. Alright, so it's really, really good. Polar Wind hits different. As soon as I switched to Polar Wind, my Warden was fixed. Seriously. Here we're using Crystal Slab. It is our CC. It's just really good. It absorbs projectiles and puts them back at people and stuns them. Incredible skill. Everyone uses projectiles for the most part. Here we're using the Betty Natch, like I said. It gives us recovery, so that's really, really nice. And then it gives us our weapon and spell damage buff, and then it's a cleanse, and it's a heal. Alright, so we Vigor, we Arctic Wind, or Polar Wind, and we can pop our Betty for extra heals. And we're just getting a lot of healing coming in for doing a little to no work. Then we're using the Resto Wall just for you and your team. You could use Secluded Grove. I don't care. There's a lot of good options with this, but yeah, that is what I am using. Alright, well, I hope I convinced you enough to run this build. I think I did. If I didn't, you can let me know. In terms of Corrupting Pollen, you can use Gripping Shards. You could also use Fetcher Infection if you want a little bit more damage, but I like Corrupting Pollen a ton. So, let me know what you think down below. I will show you my champion points real quick. Master at Arms, Fighting Aura, Ironclad, and Untamed Aggression. And then we are using Peace of Mind, Same by Suffering, Pain's Refuge, and Relentlessness. But yeah, that is what we're running, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I am going to leave a little bit of gameplay here at the end just for you guys to see it in action. I believe I got like 600k of everything, healing and damage, in this quick BG. So thank you. I appreciate it. And let me know what you think down below. I hope you don't think this is trash like some of you thought in my last video. But peace, guys. Have a good one.